I love teaching writing. I mean, writing is one area where a lot of people struggle with it. People have an idea, but they don't always necessarily know how to put that on paper. It's one thing that with a little bit of support, everyone can do better. Everyone can be a writer. We're going to focus on short fiction in this course. Short fiction, a text that you're going to be able to write in a short span of time, a text that you're going to be able to think about, to workshop. You're going to be able to create a world that is manageable and interesting. It's an excellent text for a newbie, for a beginning writer, for someone who's got a story in their mind to start with. It's compact, and yet it's got more details than a poem. A short story at most is about 5,000, 6,000 words, just enough for you to know the story, to enjoy it, savor it, and to step out. A lot of fiction is about escaping from who you are. But historical fiction allows you to go deeper, to explore what you're familiar with or what you know. It allows you to ask questions about yourself, about your family's history, and even about the human experience. So in this course, I'm going to help you find the idea, the one thing that you're going to write about. I'm going to help you research the topic and start to write that story. So this advice applies to many different types of genres. It applies to novels, it applies to creative nonfiction texts, travelogues. For this course, I'm going to be teaching you how to write personal historical fiction because it is the one story that you're going to be able to tell that will come from within. And it is the one genre that I find personally very rewarding to work with. So when you tell a story, right, you don't tell everything. I mean, it's boring to tell, it's boring to hear. So you want to pick that one moment where you would start a story, or one moment that is important to you. It could just be as simple as the moment when your grandparents arrived in Singapore. Imagine that. They stepped off the ship. What was the ship like? What was their journey like? What would they have felt when they arrived in a place where they heard different languages? It's about what's worth describing, what's worth remembering, what's worth sharing with the world. It really doesn't matter, whether it's a historical moment, it's a moment that changed everything. All that it matters is that that moment is important to you. So I recently wrote a short story titled An Unusual Arrangement. The story is based on my paternal grandparents and in particular my paternal grandmother and her arrival in Singapore. I've seen her once in my life when I was really little, and once when we visited India. I didn't know much about her. And this petite lady, right, from India who had never left Kerala had said, "Come what may, my life is with him." Right in the middle of World War II, right when they announced that this was going to be the last ship out of India to Singapore. It's always played in my head. It's always been something that I thought of when I think of my paternal grandmother. That sentence was the anchor for me to start the story. Come what may, my life is with him. So that's all I needed. And then I got started. And that's what you need as well. You just need one moment, a few facts, and then you fill in the gaps with your imagination, with research, and create a world that moment took place in. That sentence, come what may, my life is with him. It said everything, and it said nothing at all. It said everything about the romantic spirit of my grandmother. It said everything about how brave she must be to leave everything she was familiar with to come to a place that she wasn't familiar with. And yet it was, there was so much I didn't know. So this moment needs to have some unanswered questions, right? That hunger to know more details, that hunger to connect the dots. That's what's going to get you started. That's what's going to help you sit down and write the story. when I am about to write a story, there is this litmus test, right? I've got an idea that comes to me. I've got something that I want to talk about. If it simmers in my mind, if I'm thinking about it when I go to bed, when I wake up, if it's what I'm thinking about, then I know that this is a story that I want to explore. This is a story I want to work with. This is a story I want to tell. So if you have a story that stays with you overnight, you know this is the story you want to put in the work for.